I don't know if I can say on camera how special Dee Dee Bridgewater is. Because if I were to tell your audience how special Dee Dee Bridgewater is to me personally, we both might get in trouble. Oh my gosh, Dee Dee Bridgewater is she is a comet. She is a ball of fire streaking across the sky, you know, and it comes across in her music and it comes across in her personality.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Io, the Wonder Dog. Io, what would you have to say, Io? Io? Io's busy playing with his toys right now.
I know. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, there you are. Hello guys. How are you? I'm so glad I'm here. Oh my God.
Every time she picks up the microphone to sing, it's, you know, she's always coming from the heart, you know.
I'm sorry.
She has a tape recorder in her head, and she's taped stuff from when she was a child and when she was working with, you know, Cannonball and hanging out with Dizzy, and she's got all this stuff, and she never sings things the same way twice, you know, and it's always just so much in the tradition. It's incredible.
Fantastic. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. When I started to sing at first professionally, I was with the University of Illinois Jazz Band, and the first trip I did with them was coming to Russia in 1969. Wow. I was followed everywhere by the KGB. I could not interact with any young people. If we did stuff, it had to be in secret, clandestine. But the first time I came, I didn't come to Tbilisi, but I did go to Tashkent. But I was followed everywhere, to the point that I became paranoid. And people, because I had a really big afro the first time I came to the Soviet Union, people would come up and they literally grab my hair, you know, and they would come up and they'd do this. Like that, but it was like this, you know. I don't know if they thought maybe it was gonna rub off. I don't know the color. You know, and then they just walk away. I'd be walking, and can you imagine you're walking and someone... So I had all of that kind of experience. And then I met the man who became my first husband on that trip, Cecil Bridgewater. And then we married and moved to New York, and then he was hired by the Thad Jones-Lewis Orchestra and Horace Silver, so I eventually was hired by Thad Jones-Lewis. Horace Silver is one of my all-time favorite composers. You know, I finally did a tribute album of his music, and he was involved. but I was courted by people like Dizzy Gillespie, Sonny Rollins, Dexter Gordon. I worked with all of these people. Clark Terry, Max Roach, Pharoah Sanders, you know. And then I worked with this big band. I was, I think, probably one of the last singers to start in a big band, you know, like Ella Fitzgerald did, like Sarah Vaughan did, you know. The singers who are younger than me, like Diane Reeves or Cassandra Wilson, they didn't have that opportunity, you know, so I was very fortunate. That's being in the right place at the right time. The time was really right for me. Yeah. So I feel very, very fortunate in that respect to have this kind of a history with Tbilisi, for example, through this big band, Thad Jones Lewis, to keep this memory of this warm experience that I had here. It was maybe 2 days that I was here. It wasn't a very long time. But I felt this need to come back. So when the offer came in to come here for the jazz festival, I was like, yes, 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 yes.
The music is the magic, and the hiding place, the music is the magic and the hiding place. It's a place where the spirit is home. Oh, it's a place where the spirit is home. It's a place that is always with the music is the magic. 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 It's the magic. It's the magic. It's the magic.
Oh my goodness. Sophisticated ladies, yes. Well, you know, doing another character is a lot of fun. Being able to go away from myself and become someone else is a great deal of fun. I would say that you know, Sophisticated Ladies was more of a review. The Wiz that I did and another musical I did called the 1940s Radio Hour, there was dialogue and I actually portrayed a character. And then I did have the opportunity to do a play with music based on the life of Billie Holiday. And that was pretty much a one-woman show, you know, with a band on stage.
She tells her side, nothing to hide. Now the world will know just what the blues is all about. Well, say nothing but a pain in your heart. When you get up and stop, when your man has your heart. I ain't gonna sit down and cry no more. I know I'm gonna die.
Well, I did cabaret in Paris, so I was the first black actress to play the role of Sally Bowles, and I really enjoyed doing that. But to build another character and to really give that character a full personality and a a whole life story so that you are coming from all of that information when you're interacting with other actors, you know, doing a play or a musical is fantastic. Also, I like working in ensembles. I love working in an ensemble. I like to help out the technicians, and I like to help the carpenters, and I love to see how the costumes are being done, and a lot of times if I had something tear or something in my costumes, I love to go and mend it with the seamstresses. So I like behind the scenes. I really like behind the scenes.
Every song she does is almost like a mini play in a way, because she uses different characters. When she sings a ballad, she goes into a certain kind of character. When she sings a happier song, she uses a different character. You know, it's all her, but it's just like, you know, different sides of her personality, you know, and that's what makes it so interesting, I think, for the audience to listen to be a part of that kind of experience. It's very unique, rather than just performing a song.
This is a Billie Holiday original, and it is called Fine and Mellow.
Yeah, my similarities with Billie were really personal, concerning the men, you know, her bad choices in men. I just was able to identify with that because I made some really bad choices. She was abused as a young woman and raped and molested, and I had those things happen to me as well. So it was those kinds of things that I was able to identify with. She was, for punishment, put into a Catholic school, and my mother put me in a Catholic school as punishment, and the nuns kicked me out a few years later. But yeah, it was those things that I felt drew me to her, you know. I don't know, I felt that I could understand her as a woman and how it is to want to be your own individual and not follow, you know, all of the, you know, whatever the mores of the day were, whatever was popular to do. She went against the grain of what was popular and was really true to herself. And yeah, I was able to, of course, be wiser because I learned about the abuse of the drugs that she took, so I never had those issues, thank goodness. But I could certainly understand how one could, especially in that period that she grew up in. Yeah.
He wears high trim pants, the stripes are really yellow. He wears high trim pants, and the stripes are really yellow. When it starts into loving, you know he is so fine and mellow.
Well, All my life, actually, all my adult life, I've always been involved in kind of humanitarian projects. When I first started at university, I was very much involved with the beginnings of the Black Panther movement. The Black Panther movement, of course, there was a lot of propaganda about it being this negative movement, being too militant, but they did wonderful things in the Black communities, especially in the impoverished areas. They started breakfast programs because in the public schools, breakfast was not served, and so a lot of children, poor children, went to school without breakfast. So I would go into some of the elementary schools and with the Black Panthers, and we would serve breakfast to the children, and the children would come to school early, and we would set up the breakfast in the gyms. And so I did that. Then when I moved to France, well, I also worked with prisoners. I was part of a project in New York that took artists into prisons, but into where they had the toughest inmates, and inmates on death row, and the lifers, you know. And so I did a lot of music in the prisons, and I started corresponding with a lot of prison inmates. So I did that, and then when I moved to France, I worked with UNESCO with their political refugees. I worked with, because I really believe in freedom of speech, you know. I worked with a lot of organizations in France that had to do with women and children who are abused, the children of HIV, parents, SOS Racism. I worked with that organization a lot. And now I work with the FAO, which is part of the United Nations. And so with the FAO, I have, you know, gone on missions with them to visit different countries where they have implemented the cooperative programs. And then now they have me doing more speaking on behalf of the FAO. So I've spoken twice at the United Nations for different programs. And my goal is to maybe one day be a full-fledged diplomat. Yeah. But really to try and give voice to people who don't have a voice. That's really important to me.
It's just, there's no one like her, you know. I think a lot of people have what she has when they're off stage, but then when they get around people, they just kind of, you know, they become cultured and you know, they play the role. But Dee Dee is the same person on stage, off stage, when she's making music, when she's not making music. I love her honest personality.
So, here we go. Angata. Dream of a land, my soul. I hear a hand beat just a night. Afro blue.
Oh, the Malian project was born out of my decision to try to find my African heritage. And it was a process of almost 5 years. First, I tried to do my genealogy, and it only went back to the 1700s, and then no papers. So I started to listen to music from different parts of West Africa, because I knew that most of the slave trade came from West Africa. And when I heard the music from Mali, a lot of the griot songs I could sing. So, but this is over 4 years I'm listening to music. And finally with this Malian music, every time I hear something, it didn't matter who it was, I was able to recognize these melodies. And so I said, oh, I better go to this place. So I went to Mali, to Bamako, and the people thought I was Malian, and it just, I knew in my spirit. I have not yet done the DNA test. I'm going to do that. But I knew in my spirit that this was my place. My ancestry came from this place. So I decided after finding that out that I would make this album project. And so 2 years later, I did this project with the help of a Malian musician named Sheikh Tidiane Seck. Yeah, so that's how it happened. Yeah. And then I decided, because I could hear in the Malian music similarities to blues and jazz. So that's when I said, oh, well, then I should do a mix of those two musics. So that's how that happened. And that was really the most incredible musical project I ever did.
Vamos